everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to welcome to another interview with our April 2025 winners. And we are super excited here to share a bunch of wonderful information that our winners have been doing and what they plan to do, and get ready to feel inspired. So, my name is Jama, and I am with the Women's Net Advisory Board. And today we are speaking first with Lauren with Cranberry Oysters. And she is our Amber Grant winner for the month of April. And then we have with us Kayla Abe with Shuggie's Trash Pie and Natural Wine. And she is our business category winner for the month of April, which, as you know, is sustainability. And so we're so excited to have you both with us today. Natalie Wilson with Tegner Mill. She couldn't be with us today, but she will be sending us a short video on a little bit about her business. So we look forward to seeing that. And so, Kayla, let's start with you. Can you please tell us a little bit about Shuggie's Trash Pie and Natural Wine?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. So Shuggie is my restaurant in San Francisco. We're a climate solutions restaurant, so we're focused entirely on upcycled ingredients, highlighting things like byproducts, offcuts, cosmetically regular produce,
Yeah.
surplus, things that are traditionally overlooked in the conventional food system, and we make them the highlight of our menu.
Awesome. Thank you. And Lauren, please tell us a little bit about cranberry oysters.
So, Cranberry Oysters is my 5-acre oyster farm off of Cranberry Island in Maine. It's a town of 5 islands and really tiny place. I started out as a school teacher here and switched over to oyster farming. And I have a woman-run farm and 7 women that work on the farm with me.
Very cool. I'm pretty hungry right now. With both businesses with a focus on food. And so let's go back to Kayla. Kayla, can you please tell us a little bit about, you told us a little bit about a climate friendly business. And so can you please tell us what else makes your business approach unique from other restaurants in the area?
It's kind of baffling to me in a way that it's not more of a focus within the restaurant industry. But aside from like one other spot in the US and a few pop-ups that have happened by some prominent chefs, uh, there really aren't restaurants focusing on food waste. Um, at the same time, it's one of the leading causes of climate change and one of
Yeah,
the potential solutions. And my partner and I really felt that as chefs and restaurants lead the food culture in our country, it's really our responsibility to be thinking about these things. So it is more work, but at the same time it's super rewarding. We work directly with a lot of farmers and food producers in the area, and we act as this kind of catch for all of these ingredients that would otherwise go overlooked or discarded. All of them perfectly good to eat,
hmm,
um, just something irregular for the conventional markets. And yeah, hopefully, the goal is to, when people come into a restaurant, try to influence a little bit about how they're thinking about their personal impact on the environment through the way that they eat.
absolutely. And I can see just how influential this is, everything from saving on transportation costs and not just food waste costs, and just so many different ways that you're really helping the environment and at the same time providing a really nice venue for people to come enjoy. So that's amazing. Thank you. And Lauren, tell us a little bit. We know a little bit about your crew, but tell us what else makes Cranberry Oysters unique and your approach different.
So oysters are all about place, the water that they're grown in, and we have a slogan: a unique place, a unique oyster. This town has 5 islands, and my home island has only 70 people that live there year round. when I was the teacher, I was in the two-room schoolhouse and we had only 17 students when I started. So it's really delicate population and really special place. And we've got this gorgeous backdrop of Acadia National Park. So oysters are also such a wonderful farm product because they, benefit the environment that they're grown in. So really great for the water. And aquaculture has just been such a cool way for women to work on the water. So we're seeing more and more women enter this space and own their own boats and own their own farms. And just a great way for women living in very rural, isolated communities surrounded by salt water to make a living. So really wanted to emphasize that, and hence the women owned and run, and yeah, island proud.
Very cool. So who taught you how to um, farm oysters? I'm just curious. I know that wasn't part of the questions.
I was actually working in the summer lobster fishing to earn some extra money while I was teaching. And so I was just having a blast working on the water, and I was like, how can I make this work? And ended up choosing farming. I was more interested in kind of tending a farm and went to a class with the Island Institute on aquaculture and just got some brief pointers and just launched in. So my friend Joanna was starting an oyster farm in the Bar Harbor area, and so she was kind of getting going, and so we were working together a little bit, and yeah, a lot of it was just trial and error. So.
Very cool. And Kayla, tell us who inspired your business?
Yeah, you know, it's really been working directly with farmers that have been the driving inspiration for what we do. I had never had an aspiration to own a restaurant. That was never in the cards for me. I have always been solely focused on the environment and food being a really major way for us as individuals to have some say in what happens in the environment. But I worked just right out of college. I worked with a farmers market operator and educational nonprofit, and I was doing a lot of their communications at the time. So I would be speaking with farmers at the market several times a week, just like hunting for stories.
Mhm.
And this common thread between all of them was this just the gross amount of waste that they would accumulate on the farm, but also like at the market, and all of that after breaking their backs, like sowing
Mhm.
seeds and like tending to the harvest and then harvesting and then transporting to market and then still having to deal with something like waste because of cosmetic irregularity,
Yeah.
um, or something, or like a bump in harvest. It just felt really just like there was a huge disconnect, that felt like more of an educational problem than anything else. So for me, that's really become the driving force within my life.
Mhm.
Before the restaurant, I had another company focused on food waste, but this to me right now, or Shuggie's, is a really cool kind of educational space. Before my company was in retail, it was like a CPG product, but to actually bring people into a space and convince them and try to educate through feeding them really good food, that they wouldn't know otherwise, might be using upcycled ingredients, I think has been a really compelling way to bring people along on this educational journey.
Very nice. And so you're really tailoring your food and what you offer to really what you have your hands on. Can you speak a little bit about your menu and just that whole
Yeah.
process?
Yeah. I guess like it is a little bit unusual and the process is reversed from other restaurants. We build a menu around what we get from farms. So at a certain level, waste is predictable. So certain
Mhm.
farms are able to say, I'm gonna have a surplus of this thing pretty much all season. Just by virtue of like what is more popular
Mhm.
in market. Like if it's summer, tomatoes are always going to be more popular than squash. So there's always going to be like a squash bump from this one farmer
Mhm.
that we know, but they want to keep a diversity at their stand, so they need to have both. So we're able to plan seasonally around things like that. And then um, other times we have farmers that are like, I planted too much of this thing. I have an excess of like an entire field of these radishes. Like, can you take them on? Um, so then we build a menu around that.
Yeah.
But everything on our menu has at least like 3 to 5 or 7 different upcycled ingredients. And it really is a range from like agricultural, like true, just like
Mhm.
from the farm agricultural products to um things like we have a chocolate partner, and
Mhm.
sometimes they have cacao nibs that are off spec
Mhm.
for their commercial needs. Like we have a walnut farmer that has walnuts that are slightly too dark for to be considered like their
Mhm.
grade. So it's a lot of fact finding and hunting around to figure out what people's needs are.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of change, but at the same time, like we build holes in our menu that are kind of flexible, and we swap
Mhm.
things in and out.
Very, very cool. Wow, we do need a lot more Shuggies around.
That's the
Would be
goal, is
awesome.
we don't want to be the only trash people. Hopefully there are more.
Sounds delicious. And Lauren, we know that you started off as a school teacher and now you have this oyster business. You probably have a lot of lessons learned that you wish you knew ahead of time, but you didn't, and so you learned it. So can you share some of those with us?
Yeah, I did find this question hard to narrow down. So, probably the biggest one though is that, when you start out, it's just you and the thing that you love. So it's just me and oysters, and you're just having a great time. And then things quickly become more and more complicated. So there's accounting, and then
Yeah.
there's networking and building relationships with your buyers, and then there's getting deliveries of oysters on time, and learning to manage people. And I think what I really learned the hard way was just like not to be so hard on yourself when you fall on your face. Like you just can't be good at all of those roles. Like there's going to be somewhere where you fall down, and just to learn on your feet and be vulnerable and kind of like constantly be inventorying what you're not good at and figuring out ways to make change happen. So
Mhm.
it's yeah, I think that's just part of running a business, and I didn't learn about that really until I took a class with these developers of this app called Profit Decoder, and they talked about when
Okay.
you start a business, there's something called a skills chasm, and I was like, oh, that's the thing that I've been trying to learn. It's just like, all right, I just can't be good at everything, but it's okay. It's better to just not waste time and move on. So yeah, that was
Wow.
probably my biggest lesson.
For sure. And what a powerful one to learn. Very
Yeah.
nice. Oh, well, thank you both for being with us today. We really appreciate it. We're very excited to see what you're going to continue doing in the next few months and how this award money is going to help propel your business forward. And so please keep in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having
thank you. So exciting.